And we're back for more of the Shacknews Awards 2023. We are talking headshots and not images that you use to market yourself as an actor. We're talking about blowing people's brains out uh, in shooters. You know, Shacknews started as a shooter focused site back in the 1990s. We were kind of a Quake fan site, and Quake has had some decent headshots over the years. But we have four nominees for this category this year: Resident Evil 4 Remake, RoboCop Rogue City, Payday 3, and Jagged Alliance 3. Let's kick it off with RE4. Who would like to talk about headshots in RE4 Remake?
I have an
I
idea.
can.
David.
Okay.
What's your idea? Oh, well, I'm sure TJ will jump in on this as well because I believe he nominated it. But the original RE4 had such great feedback from the feel of squeezing off with the bolt action rifle or the semi-auto to that satisfying like of an enemy head exploding. And this game is no different. It is just really satisfying to score headshots in that game. And you have Ashley there oftentimes to say nice or whoa, and she kind of reinforces that you just did something badass. So yeah, Resident Evil 4 all the way for me.
I will say, just to play devil's advocate a little bit, David, because it is a great game, and I'm saving my
Overrule
votes
him. Overrule
for a
him.
lot.
No, okay, go ahead.
Is that
Go
is
ahead.
that at a certain point in RE4 in both the original and the remake, you are honestly almost discouraged from doing headshots because it can mutate the Plagas into
No. That stops them from mutating the Plagas. They cannot sprout. Even if you do that suplex and it smashes their head, no Plagas. So you want to get headshots.
I do want to bring this up, David.
Mm.
You can shoot enemies a lot in the head in RE4. It's rarely one shot, one kill.
It is against the villagers, but not necessarily against the bigger, like the Garradors.
Yeah.
Not always against the dogs either, but against the villagers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it makes it, just a little less. There's not that. This category, like, whenever anyone asks me, like, what's your quintessential video game headshot? It's the sniper rifle in Gears of War. That, like, nice, consistent popping feel. I just feel like there are times in RE4 where I shoot someone in the head and it just doesn't feel rewarding. That's all I'm saying. It's not but to your point, if you limit this to just the headshots of villagers, that is satisfying. So
yeah,
I understand.
They're the enemy you fight the most of, but I do see where you're coming from.
Yeah. I do want to mention. Oh, sorry, go ahead, TJ.
Oh, I was going to say that, like, the branching path of headshot outcomes in Resident Evil 4 is kind of part of what I like most about it. There is that moment where if you hit a rifle shot and you see their dome explode like a watermelon, they just walk for a little while.
Yeah.
And then you just have to watch them for a second, like, are you dead or are you going to try something else? And if the Las Plagas sprouts out of their shoulders afterwards, like, it's that Nick Frost meme where he's loading the shotgun. It's like, shame.
Yeah, so that's actually TJ is correct, Greg. They can still sprout Las Plagas, although the suplex thing is true. But even if they do, that's just a second headshot, and they're usually moving slowly at first, so you can pop another one off. And to see that giant like tentacle stalk thing explode,
that is enjoyable.
It's awesome. Yes.
Yeah, I will give you that. But that's what I mean. Like, it's a little more involved than most shooter headshots are. And like you said, TJ, like the fact that it has a branching like set of outcomes is kind of cool. And headshots and where you choose to shoot enemies in RE games has always been part of the meta. So
yeah, I will say I know a lot of people have always kind of I don't think they hate the water room, but it's one of the hardest areas of the game, especially the end when you have to boost Ashley up to this catwalk and defend her while she's turning cranks. Mm-hmm. That is still one of the most intense sniping experiences. You can use other guns, but why? Why would you? Yeah. Of course, you're going to use your rifle. It is still one of the most intense set pieces in a game full of intense set pieces. And I just like headshots there really come into their own. It is so fun.
No, that's a good point.
I'm very torn on this one because for me, there's nothing more satisfying than being rewarded for hitting something in the head. And so, and this is just a personal preference. If I have to shoot something in the head twice at any point for any reason, I'm like, nah, I'm out.
Oh,
Right?
but it's twice as satisfying, Bill. What if I
No,
told
it's
you
not.
that?
It's not.
Okay.
You must
Okay.
hate Destiny, Bill.
Hang on. But the counter to that is I don't know how you possibly fix that and have varied enemies and balance, because if you can just kill everything in RE4 by shooting it in the head once,
That's
that
the
kind
thing.
of changes
boring.
things not for the
Yeah.
better, right?
Right.
So that's why I'm torn, because what gives me the ultimate satisfaction is I aimed right, I hit it in the head, I win, I'm moving on. But I think there's also a downside to that, especially in some games that want to incorporate more interesting enemies and different various levels and whatnot. So,
And that's the thing too. Like it's not like a high fantasy game, but it is fantastical, right? So if you could just kill everything in the head, to your point and to Asif's point, actually the game would be too easy. And the Resident Evil games are supposed to be very tense and challenging, right?
And it's
And-
not always the right move to shoot someone in the head in an RE
Mm-mm.
game.
Mm-mm.
And
I'm famous for shooting people in RE2 in the kneecaps and just moving on with my day.
And you actually need to save like your sniper rifle ammo at the end for the regenerators, which headshots will do shit. So
Yep.
yeah.
I would go as far as to say that if you're looking for the gun that will remove the head no matter what kind of creature it is, then you just need an upgraded broken butterfly, because its attack damage is 50, and whatever you put a bullet into the head of will have no head after that.
And they go flying back. It's great.
Nice.
Great.
I think we should move on to the next nominee, RoboCop Rogue City. I have to make a point here. There is an upgrade in the game that you can get that increases the gore on your kills. So that applies to headshots here. But this is one of, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully everyone's seen the original RoboCop film. That has some gore in it. That has some headshots in it. That has RoboCop 2 as well. And maybe even some people have seen RoboCop 3. But these films have been known for their graphic violence, and especially like back in the 80s, really pushing the boundaries in what gore and violence was shown in a game. Or sorry, in a film. This kind of brings that to the game in a very good way. We've talked about this in other categories, how they've done a really good job of recreating that universe in the game. And yeah, the gore, actually having an upgrade that you can put on in the game to make it more gory, just think it's very deserving of this nomination.
It's also really over the top. Like, it's not super hyper realistic headshot. Like, the sound, I think, is what pulls it off, because it's like the sound of like a wet balloon popping. And like when you do it the first time, you're like, oh, that's awesome. And then you just start doing it consistently, because the weapon they give you in the game is so overpowered, because they want you to live that fantasy. And you can even slow down time. Just like it feels a lot like Fallout 3, where you could just pop people in the head and then you get that satisfying, over the top pop with like the over expressive gore, and it feels just so good. You just want to do it all the time. And if an enemy's wearing a helmet, you're very sad that you can't do it.
Yep. I don't know if there's a whole lot more to say about it, honestly, but it's a very good headshot experience, and that's a fun shooting game. It's just, and I think that visceral experience of a headshot really does add to shooters. So when a shooter gets it right, it deserves some recognition, and RoboCop Rogue City did that. Our next nominee is Payday 3. Fastly becoming the Susan Lucci of the Shacknews Awards 2023 here. Nominated again. Congratulations, Payday 3. Who wants to speak to the headshots in Payday?
I mean, it's not my personal favorite headshot, but I see why Sam Chandler, who's not here, nominated it. There's like a good, I believe, like audio cue when you land a headshot in this game. That is pretty satisfying. I think that goes into it, just the sound cues. And I think one of the reasons I probably move it for is because some of the enemies can be a bit bullet spongy, especially when you get like the armored SWAT team folks that come in when your heist really good as shit and you've got to fight for your life. The headshots are less satisfying against those guys when they don't stop coming towards you. But I think the early on segments of a level, they are when you can just pull out a silenced pistol and just like drop a security guard and continue to move around stealthily. I think in those moments that headshot is very satisfying. So
to wrap
I can
up
see why
my
it's worth
point,
mentioning.
Payday's a game that could have done something about that. Resident Evil isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you shoot a human in the head, I expect results, man. Just saying.
Right.
That's
Mhm.
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't disagree.
a fine nomination. I don't even think Sam nominated it. Maybe he
Oh,
did.
really?
I'm looking at what he was. I'm
Mm.
looking at our vote sheet, and
He might have nominated it when we were discussing it,
when
but it
we were
might not have been his
talking about
vote.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's fair.
Mhm.
Either way, he's not here to defend it. But yeah, he had another game that he was also high on the headshot for. We got one more nominee in this category. It's Jagged Alliance 3. I believe TJ, you nominated this?
I did. Himamont Games seems to have gone to the school of Firaxis XCOM real-time strategy design. They did an excellent job with Jagged Alliance 3. And like one of the so like there are so many ways to hit a headshot that feel satisfying in that game. Like when you hit a shotgun shot at point blank range, it's wild satisfying when that shot flies true. When you hit a sniper rifle shot at range and like it just plucks their dome right off, it's there's a lot of animations to that game, and most of them are pretty dang good when you eliminate the head of an enemy. And I think it's just like I really appreciate that for this particular game they put an option in where like every character that you have has a certain number of action points that they can use for like movements and attacks. And if you aim at an enemy, you can put points into ensuring like that your shot will have a higher chance of not only hitting your enemy but like devastating them. And I just love it. I relished every opportunity to hit a good headshot in that game. It was so fun.
Nice. Just getting our ballot ready here because I'm actually going to start counting votes because I'm having trouble remembering. I only have 2 hands, and we have 4 nominees, so it becomes a little difficult here. So I think we're ready to vote, right? Jagged Alliance 3. Anyone else want to talk about Jagged Alliance? I need to play more of that game. That's all. That's my main takeaway from our conversations about it, TJ. You've got me interested. Okay, let's vote. I'm gonna start with Steve. Steve, what's your best headshot of the year?
I'm going with RoboCop.
Okay, one for Bill.
After all that hoopla, I'm RE4.
Okay, TJ.
I think I have to go with Resident Evil 4, but like these are all such good ones. I was really taken in by the RoboCop increase gore feature. Like that sounds dope. I need to play that game.
Everyone needs to play that game. Like, and I know like we were on the high side of the reviews, but like Shacknews and RoboCop have this very kind of long relationship with Ed 209 and all sorts of memes. And yeah, they did it right. I know it's like campy to some people, but yeah, it's great. Greg, what you got?
God, it's really tough. Like this is the first time I've ever had a nomination in the headshot category, so I have to stick with my guns and just see RoboCop. Historical moment for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna hold off on voting because I think I might actually be able to sway things this time. Donovan,
I'll go Resident Evil 4.
David,
Resident Evil 4.
Denny.
Yeah, man, the RoboCop is really good. I do like the feature, and the headshot satisfying. But RE4 is also satisfying as hell. So I'm gonna have to go with RE4.
Okay, now let's look at the absentee ballots here, right? It looks like Ozzy did not vote, and Sam has a game that's not even on our
Great.
nominees list.
Terrific.
So that's good.
There you go.
My vote doesn't matter. I'm gonna vote for RoboCop, but it doesn't matter. That means Resident Evil 4. I think that's the first win that we've been able to give out so far to Resident
Oh.
Evil 4. But Resident Evil 4 is our winner of the best headshot of the year 2023 here here at the Shacknews Awards. So congratulations to Capcom.
Christ! Like she did.
Temperance, child.
I've taken the liberty of preparing some entertainment.